Former Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback and legend Ben Roethlisberger details exactly how he would fix the Steelers offense and get it going. So, if you don't know by now, Ben Roethlisberger, he has his own podcast and show where he talks about the Steelers and other stuff around the NFL. And this week, he was actually doing a watch along, a live session where he was watching the Steelers versus Arizona Cardinals game and giving some thoughts and feedback during it. And we all know how that game went. The offense couldn't do anything. They only scored 10 points, and they scored one late, which they really should have scored 3. After having games of going 400 yards the previous week, they had a game where they went under 300. So he detailed exactly how he would fix it and what's going wrong. This is what he had to say. Here's his quote. You know what I really like doing as a quarterback and as a coordinator when you're making calls? We talk about our top 10 and everything. I like to show different formations. I want to show an empty, all tight ends look, 2 backs. I want to show all kinds of things to see how they line up on defense. They may line up in an empty formation and we could take advantage of it. I like to show different looks because you might end up getting a look and formation and be like, let's go back to this all day. End quote. So, Roethlisberger also added that he feels like the Steelers have been using the run game effectively, and especially against Arizona Cardinals, they did so as well. He said if something is working, then they should stick with it and use play action to keep the opponent's defense off balance. That is why Roethlisberger, he basically likes the idea of the Steelers offense using different looks to see what the defense kind of bites on and jumps at. It allows the offensive coaches to make adjustments in game and the quarterback to make adjustments in game and changes based on how the defense is playing your formations. He said, that's just something I really like doing as a quarterback. I always say, let's show an empty set early, let's show this, and let's show that. So that's what Big Ben kind of had to say about the offense and how he would use the formations to get the Steelers going. But just looking at it and breaking it down a little bit further into detail, how many times have we seen in the Randy Fichtner offense with Big Ben and in the last year of Big Ben calling his own plays in the Matt Canada offense when he would get it going and start calling his own plays, did he come out in a 5-wide set? Whether that be all 5 wide receivers on the field or 4 wide receivers, tight end, 4 wide receivers, running back, or whatever it is, everyone split out in an empty set where no one was in the backfield with him. How many times did we see him do that and see what the defense comes out in and then make adjustments off of it, telling players to run a certain route in the scheme that the defense comes out in, him changing the play based off that look? How many times did we see that? Yes, it's different because obviously Big Ben, he was in his 18th season, and we all know he's going to be in the Hall of Fame one day, probably a first ballot Hall of Famer, and currently Steelers quarterback Kenny Pickett is only in his 2nd season. But even if you don't trust Kenny Pickett to do that, you still are coaches. The coaches should be able to make adjustments off of the looks that the defense are coming out in. If you're coming out on a 5-wide look, Kenny Pickett, when you get to the sideline, the coaches should be able to look at it with him, show him it on that screen, the iPad, and tell him to make the adjustments necessary. Or just make the adjustments while you're on the headset with him in the play call. You could make adjustments based off the defense coming out in. Yes, the time where you could talk cuts off at a certain point, but you should still be able to make adjustments off of the formations that the defense comes out in. How many times do we see Big Ben do that? Make adjustments based off the formation that the defense comes out on and based off the play call. If he didn't like the play call, he would switch a route from a wide receiver or switch a play call in general. And that's what the Steelers should be doing. Coming out in different looks, seeing what the defense gives you, because if you come out in a cover 3 beater, but they don't come out in cover 3, you should be able to make adjustments. And if they come out in a man set, make adjustments to be able to beat that man. So you come out in different looks. If you come out 5 wide, you be able to see what the defense comes out in, whether they like coming out in cover 4 when you're in a 5-man set, whether they like come out in a cover 3, cover 2, all out blitz to get the ball out quickly. You just gotta see what the defense likes doing against certain sets that you come out in. And if you put out 3 wide receivers, you see what the defense likes coming out in. If you put out 2 tight ends and 2 wide receivers or whatever formation you come out as an offense, you're able to see what the defense likes doing against it. And you're able to switch your plays, whether that be in that certain situation or even later on in the game, just making adjustments. So that's what Big Ben kind of details how he would switch about the Steelers' offense and moving forward to try to get them going. So far this season, the Steelers' offense has shown small improvements, especially with the addition when Broderick Jones entered the Steelers' lineup at right tackle during their Week 9 game. They were ranked 29th overall among the offensive lines and 28th for run blocking, but after Jones was slotted in, they've moved up 8 spots and then 5th spots respectively. So they have shown some improvements, but last week was really a setback. They went from getting over 400 yards, the offense looking actually good, but they just didn't put up points the week before, to them basically doing nothing against the Cardinals and their offense looking exactly how it did earlier in the season. So they went from making improvements to looking even worse the following week. So now, just to give you an update for this week's matchup against the New England Patriots on Thursday, just to give you a kind of idea what the Steelers offense might be doing with Kenny Pickett out with an ankle injury and Mitchell Trubisky being the starter on the offense. Well, the offensive coordinator, Eddie Faulkner, was talking about what does Mitchell Trubisky like doing best. And he said that they put in some extra shot plays down the field to get Deontay Johnson and George Pickens involved and kind of play to the strengths of Mitchell Trubisky. Meaning that they obviously feel more comfortable taking shots down the field with the veteran in Mitchell Trubisky, and he likes doing it. We've seen whenever he comes in the game, Mitchell Trubisky, he likes pushing the ball down the field and he likes throwing it more deeper. So obviously Eddie Faulkner, he says that the Steelers are going to have some shot plays to kind of play to his strengths and to get him to do that. So that's something that you could probably expect to see, whether that be down the sideline to George Pickens, down the sideline to Deontay Johnson, or even hopefully down the middle of the field. It just doesn't have to be down the sideline with Mitchell Trubisky throwing the ball to their wide receivers. They could always use the middle of the field too. So hopefully the Steelers offense can start using those shot plays and Mitchell Trubisky can start getting things going. And also at this point in his career, playing 9 seasons in the NFL, he should be able to read a defense. He should be able to get things going for the Steelers. If he doesn't, then I don't know what to tell you, because he's been in the NFL for a while. He's been with the Chicago Bears, he's played with the Buffalo Bills, and now he's on the Steelers. He's been in this league, he's seen what defenses do. He should be able to come out in formations and make adjustments off of it, whether he's allowed to or not. He should be able to read a defense and know the formations and the adjustments that need to be made. And if he can't, then I guess I don't know what to tell you. Eddie Faulkner, he was also speaking about Mason Rudolph. I know many fans are saying, we already seen what Kenny Pickett could do. He's injured now. We already seen what Mitchell Trubisky could do whenever he comes in the game. He doesn't do anything. Let's just give Mason Rudolph a shot. We haven't seen him in a couple of years. Maybe he's better. Maybe he's more improved. Let's give him a shot. Well, Eddie Faulkner said that obviously Mitchell Trubisky is a starter, but they said that they also feel comfortable with Mason Rudolph, and he has been preparing as if he's the number 1 guy at the quarterback spot for a few weeks now. So that's what he said about Mason Rudolph. So maybe if Mitchell Trubisky doesn't perform well, maybe if the Steelers offense isn't doing too good with Trubisky in the game, then maybe they do pull the plug on him and go with Mason Rudolph and see what he could bring with the Steelers. So that's what Eddie Faulkner described against the New England Patriots for this week's game. This is what Ben Roethlisberger had to say about how he would get the offense going, coming out in different formations and letting the defense kind of set the tone and making adjustments off of it. So with that being said, let me know down in the comments below. How do you feel about this? Do you think this is a good idea? Should they listen to Ben Roethlisberger and do more of this? And also, how do you feel about Trubisky starting and Mason Rudolph maybe potentially getting in the game if things don't go well, and them being able to take more shot plays, as Eddie Faulkner said with Trubisky? Let me know your thoughts, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel down below as well if you like Steelers content analysis reports. Like the video, Turn on post notifications down below for the channel as well, so you get notified whenever I post the next Steelers video. I cover everything Steelers news, rumors, highlights, reports, analysis, film breakdowns, everything like that. And if you want to keep up to date with everything around your Pittsburgh Steelers football, this is the spot for it. Turn on notifications, like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys all later. Till next time, I'm out. Peace.